Alright, well, I've finally done it. Finally made a video. Reading this article really pissed me off. To preface this, I've been a fan of the Halo series for years, loving the universe and the amount of care and detail that usually goes into it. The keyword there is usually, to make it something really special. It's always had a really special place in my heart, so naturally, I picked up a bit of knowledge on the subject throughout the years. And what sparked this exactly is that I saw this tweet pop up on my feed, and I was absolutely baffled with what I read. And yeah, it got my tired ass brain irrationally angry for a bit. So now that I've had time to kind of settle down, and now that I've read it all over a few times, time to rip it apart. The Halo games may be iconic, but their main protagonist, Master Chief, is still something of a mystery. And here are a few things fans didn't know. The silent, heroic protagonist of the Halo series is veiled in secrecy. So first off, Chief isn't silent. Yeah, he doesn't talk a lot, but to say he's a silent protagonist is a bit misleading. Gordon Freeman is a silent protagonist, The Last Dragonborn is a silent protagonist, hell, The Rookie is a silent protagonist. But Chief is of few words, but he's far from silent. I'll admit, it's a bit of a nitpick, because you could use the word silent to say, like, oh, he doesn't talk much. But you could easily confuse someone who's never played Halo into thinking that Chief is a silent protagonist with this wording. Anyways, let's continue. Why Halo's developers decided to make Master Chief's face and background a mystery is unbeknownst to all. Perhaps concealing his identity for most of the Halo series made the games more intriguing.
One of the keys to the success of the story is we didn't pump a lot of time into figuring out who the Master Chief was and why he was a ghost in the shell. We thought he is a husk. He's a big green suit of armor that you move around.
There's something good about having the Master Chief essentially be a blank slate. That helps each individual person connect to the character.
There you go, an explanation direct from Joe Staten and Marty O'Donnell, in case you never knew, and in case you never saw that. But the thing is, Master Chief does have a background, one that's explored in The Fall of Reach, which in later points you do bring up. So, it's a bit of a contradiction, but you know what? Not too bad yet. Continuing on. Master Chief has stood by the UNSC through tough times, only rebelling against their orders in Halo 5 Guardians. You know, forget this whole bit in Halo 4, which is one of his most important character moments in the entire series, but you know what? That's fine. He is a hero who doesn't ask for credit. Master Chief is one of video games' most recognizable characters, and we haven't seen his face, excluding the limited Halo 4 legendary cutscene reveal. Alright, so you just bring up Halo 4, so I know you're just either forgetting about the Del Rio thing, which is a very important part of the game, or you're just ignoring that as a point. In Legendary, the L is italicized, so you might want to fix that. But, you know, it's a nitpick, but in writing, details matter. These are 10 shocking things you didn't know about Master Chief. Number 10. Master Chief could have kids. I mean, okay. It has been suggested that Master Chief and other Spartans have a suppressed sex drive, which is why we don't see them in romantic relationships. The augmentation process leads to a suppressed sex drive, but doesn't eliminate it. Wait, so it's been suggested that it's suppressed, and then you just say, literally in the next sentence, that the augmentation process leads to it being suppressed? Alright. Could this mean that Master Chief can have kids? Yes. Because, first off, you don't need the sex drive to have kids. It's just, a little, dare I say, harder. But yeah, there's at least one case of a Spartan 2 having a family. So I'd say it's safe to say that he can. We have to interpret the text from books like Halo: The Fall of Reach, but we don't know for sure if Master Chief can have kids. No, just outlined why. At this point, it's up in the air as to whether he will ever have kids. I mean, it would be pretty interesting to see, but incredibly unlikely, judging by his character. Point number 9, the real stinker. He prefers to fight alone. Like the popular Halo 3 game mode, Master Chief is a lone wolf. He prefers to fight alone, and he shows resistance to fighting in a squad. He will get angry when others try to help him. Master Chief is the ideal soldier in capabilities, but his attitude can get in the way of greatness. Perhaps Master Chief works alone to protect his comrades. Alright, and this is the part where he talks about the evidence that supports this claim. Regardless of his reasons for it, it's abundantly clear that Master Chief likes to fight alone. Oh? No evidence, yet it's abundantly clear? Look, man, do you know what you're talking about? I don't know what you read or played, but just about every single piece of Halo media that has Chief in it either has him as the guy to rally the troops and, bring morale back, leading them back into battle against the Covenant, or, being with all the Spartans that are his family as a team. Him being team leader of all the Spartans, which is established in the Fall of Reach, which I know you've read, or supposedly read, that alone is antithetical to this entire point. Why would you be a team leader if you like and prefer to fight alone? One of the first lessons that Mendez taught the Spartans is that they needed to stick together, and that relying on each other is the best way to go about things. Each of the games saw Chief alone, and without Spartans, with the exception of Halo 5. Yes, this is true, but how many missions is he actually completely alone with no assistance throughout? Or at least from Marines or other soldiers. We've got the library, which he had Sentinels as backup, 2 betrayals, Keys and the Maw in Halo 1, and he didn't have support because almost every single human on the ring was dead. High Charity in Halo 2, due to every other human on High Charity being killed. Absolutely none of Halo 3 because he had the Arbiter backing him up on every single mission, and Marines on almost every single mission. And for Halo 4, we have Dawn, Requiem, Forerunner, Shutdown, and Midnight, which is easily the most out of all the games. And not Halo 5, because he's with Blue Team the entire time. Out of the 60 levels from the main Halo titles, of which Chief is playable in, and it's not a cutscene, that brings it down to 38. Literally only 10 missions of those had him without UNSC backup. If he had it, I could absolutely guarantee that he would take it. This point is just ridiculous. I have no idea how someone could even make this claim. Alright, moving on. Point number 8. Master Chief was abducted as a child. Alright, so far it's true. Let's keep going. To get the full story of Halo and the background of Master Chief, it's worthwhile to read books such as Halo: The Fall of Reach, and any book from the Forerunner saga. Look, I shouldn't have to say this, but if you look at anything regarding the Forerunner saga, even the name, it's pretty clear that it won't feature the Master Chief for one pretty important reason. It takes place hundreds of thousands of years before he's even born, so it's a bit difficult for him to show up in that scenario. At this point, it just looks like you Googled Halo books and just wrote down the ones that came up. Yes, the Fall of Reach delves into John's backstory, and yes, the Forerunner trilogy gives you, quote-unquote, the full story of Halo, and tells you shit about the Forerunners, the Flood, ancient humanity, the Precursors, all that jazz, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the Chief. Carrying on. It was revealed in the former that Master Chief was abducted as a child. In the year 2517, John and the other children were covertly abducted from their homes. The government replaced the children with clones, adding to the bizarreness of the situation. Surprisingly, it's something that's never been mentioned in the games.
Tell me about the children. Dr. Halsey.
You already know everything.
You kidnapped them.
Moving on. Point number 7. He moves a lot faster than you think. Alright, yes, I'll give this to you. A biologically and mechanically augmented super soldier in a set of armor that enhances those already augmented reflexes is incredibly fast. Master Chief is like a walking vehicle based on how fast he can run. In the book titled Halo Glasslands, Senior Chief Petty Officer Franklin Mendez states that a fully suited Spartan can go from approximately 60 miles an hour. To what, exactly? Feels like you just cut off the sentence there, but okay. But yes, this is true. That is in the book, and Spartans can run that fast. Kelly can run about 65, and she's stupidly fast even by Spartan standards. And John has ran at his fastest, I want to say around 67, and when he did that, he tore ligaments in his ankles. so it's not really viable for him to do that, but yes, they can run approximately 60 miles per hour. This is true. Without a suit, there's no telling how fast Master Chief can run. It's not clear how fast he runs in the video games, but it's clear from the books that Master Chief is very fast. His swift pace allows him to jump onto moving vehicles and board them. Yeah, this is true. He can do that. Point number 6, he was made into a wax statue. In Wax Museum, Madame Tussauds' 250-year history, they haven't made a single video game character out of wax. Okay, so, what does this have to do with his character at all? Oh, right, it doesn't. Okay, so let me address the actual things you say, and it'll still not work. In Wax Museum, Madame Tussauds' 250-year history. Where you got the 250-year figure from, I have no idea, because one search later, and the first line of one of the pages is, ever since it first opened on 1835, which the grammar really bugs me, but the point is, that was 184 years ago, at the time of this thing's writing. So I feel like you got it from Marie Tussauds' birthday, who founded it, which was 1761, but considering she didn't make a museum at the age of 8, but instead when she was 74, doesn't really make sense either. Moving on from that, I think that no video game characters being sculpted for the first 172 years of it running, because this was 2007 when they made this, it makes sense considering that 130 of those years, roughly, had no video games. But I mean, I do love the fact that Chief is the first one, and that it's accurate to the lore, and that he's, 7'2" and just huge. Yeah, there are links below to the website I found, and the link that they bring up later. Given the popularity and stature of this beloved character, the museum made an exception. There are photos posted online of Wax Master Chief with Fallout Boy. They were among the first photos to confirm the existence of the 7'2" tall statue. According to Engadget, it actually took 1,000 pounds of clay to put him together. Alright, interesting, but it had nothing to do with the character. Point number 5. It gets worse. Defiant in the face of authority. Alright, it's a pretty bold-ass claim. Let's see how you qualify it. Master Chief will do whatever it takes to complete a mission. He is more human than robotic, since only a human would show such a high level of defiance. This is a point of debate to this day, whether he's more human or machine, just because, Halo 4 brought out his whole, human side, and that was the whole point of his arc in Halo 4, deciding whether he was machine or human. So to blatantly just say he is more human because he shows defiance isn't exactly proving anything, since I feel like you could go a lot more in depth with this. In fact, what examples even exist for his defiant nature? He'll ignore Cortana at times. The Marines trust Master Chief, yet even the Chief can be reckless. See, off the top of my head, I can't exactly think of any notable instances of him ignoring Cortana throughout any of the games or books. Feel free to let me know if there are any that you think of that I missed. Also, Chief being reckless with the lives of Marines isn't exactly true. The only instance I could possibly think of is when he doesn't take a seat in the escape pod in Halo 1, probably resulting in him killing all the Marines by bouncing off the walls. But one event is not a strong basis for a trend. The plot of Halo 5 Guardians revolves around Fireteam Osiris' mission to hunt down the Blue Team. Yes, it does. And it was shite. When Fireteam Osiris was involved, we know that something serious is taking place. That's it. Do we, though? Do we really know that? From all that we know, from the games at least, is that Buck is now a Spartan, and that Fireteam Osiris carries out missions that potentially have high stakes, which is what Spartans do all the time, so it's not really anything new. Case in point, rescuing Dr. Halsey from Julum Dama's Covenant. But once again, a single event is not a strong basis for a trend. Yeah, it could be argued that it was setting up Osiris as a team that only did most important of missions, and, I would agree that is kind of a setup. But saying that because a team of characters that we know a quarter of from previous games, and the rest being brand new except for Locke in this scene, we as an audience have no idea that something serious must be happening if these nobodies, to be frank, and Buck are involved. Fireteam Osiris relates to the highest level of government and deals with classified matters. Can't wait to hear about how this relates to Chief being defiant in the face of authority. Master Chief is defiant in the face of authority. You know how in elementary school and high school, English teachers always say to repeat your argument at the end of a paragraph to conclude the topic? Usually that means you should, rephrase it and not just state he is defiant as though it's a fact. Because, you didn't quantify it. Point number 4. He's tall for a soldier. It's clear from the opening cutscene in Halo 4, as well as several others, that Master Chief is much taller than his fellow soldiers. With as much armor as Master Chief's suit holds, he appears a few inches taller than he actually is. We can estimate his height at somewhere above 8 feet, given how much he towers over people around him. It's pretty easy to find out that he's 7'2" in his armor and around 6'7" without armor. Also, you point out yourself that the statue is 7'2", so you don't need to estimate his height, you have it right there. Being tall could be considered a disadvantage since he's an easier target in a firefight. I mean, I suppose? Point number 3. His armor has a layer of gel. Okay, that is something that most people playing might not know, unless you caught a few lines in Halo 3 that bring it up. Time and time again, Master Chief places himself in danger by performing the most perilous stunts. We can't forget the time he plunged 6 kilometers, crashing on Earth somewhere in the Kenyan jungle. He can perform acts such as falling great distances because of a layer of hydrostatic gel. Designed by the genius Dr. Catherine Halsey, this gel has saved Master Chief's life more than once. This gel doesn't come in contact with Master Chief's skin, but it's kept close to the body. Yeah, all this is true, and not too badly explained, so we have one interesting fact about Chief. 2, not the romance type. Alright, this is gonna be dumb. As previously mentioned, Master Chief has a suppressed sex drive because of the augmentation process, which is done at puberty. People want to see a romance in the Halo games, and Cortana and Master Chief might be the right choice. Yeah, no. Not quite there, Chief. First off, do we, as fans, want to see a romance in these games? Personally, I honestly don't care, as long as just the characterization is done well, and that there's good chemistry. Secondly, are they the right choice for a romance subplot? Probably not, no, considering that Halsey is the surrogate mother to Chief, and all the Spartan 2s, and Cortana is, made from her brain, so she is, in essence, Halsey. So that's a little sus. But yeah, there are some romantic undertones to Halo 4, but the story is mostly about how Chief is rediscovering his humanity, so to speak, through showing his emotions and trying to save this AI that has shared the same head as him for years. It's about a platonic love for each other, giving a personal stake in the story, in a way that's not really been done before with Chief as a character, except for, in Halo 3. So, yeah, no, it's not a romantic love. The way Cortana speaks to Master Chief gives us the impression that she's capable of human emotion. These two lovebirds may be more smitten with each other than previously believed. No, stop that. They're not lovebirds, bud. I don't know what gives you that impression, but that ain't it. Sure, it would be an odd relationship, given that one is a computer program and the other is almost incapable of emotion. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Yeah, I'll give it to you. If that occurred, that would be a bit of an odd relationship. But the key word there is if. Alright, point number 1. Final one. He punched a missile out of the sky. Missile isn't a word. Missile with an I? That's a word. So, considering you spelt it correctly in the next sentence, I don't know how you did this. Especially with autocorrect software being everywhere these days and, editors existing. So, moving on. One time in the Halo books, Master Chief punched a missile out of the sky to redirect its explosion. In the Halo books means the fall of Reach, as it's one of the most referenced books in this thing. It's not the first time that we've seen an act of heroism come from the Chief. First off, it's a capital C. You've been doing so well with capitals so far. Second, this isn't exactly heroism, considering it was a test to link the Spartan, Mjolnir, and a smart AI. So, it's not exactly like saving lives or anything that I would consider heroism, but I mean, Master Chief is reckless, but he is hardly human given his cybernetic enhancements. Whoa, okay. That came out of nowhere. But note how it says he is hardly human. You know, I'm gonna quote a certain article that we might have looked at earlier in this video even. It's written by you. It's this article. And I quote, "He is more human than robotic since only a human would show such a high level of defiance." Yeah, you contradicted yourself there, bud. Also, what does hardly being human have to do with being reckless? Are you saying that it implies that due to him supposedly lacking the self-preserving things that people have to keep them from doing stupid shit and dying, that he would be more reckless? This is all kinds of wrong. If anything, being more robotic and stripping emotions away completely would make him more logical and less likely to make reckless decisions without thinking about the ramifications and consequences, which him being logical makes perfect sense because like all the Spartans had all of their emotions pretty reduced throughout the years due to their training. So that would make them more capable of making logical decisions on the battlefield. All this leads me to another question though. What does this have to do with either deflecting the missile or seeing an act of heroism? This seasoned veteran is one of the most intelligent decision makers in video games. According to IGN, quote, "Using his advanced reflexes and Cortana's calculations, he chooses to deflect the missile out of the sky." Alrighty then. And that's it. The last words of this article are "alrighty then." Truly phenomenal wordplay. But the interesting thing that got my attention is that the IGN article listed here happens to coincidentally be titled 9 Things You Probably Didn't Know About Master Chief. How the plot thickens. What you'll find there are in fact 9 things, and some would even go so far as to say that they are shocking things that you didn't actually know about Master Chief. But the difference is that these 9 things are actually, relatively interesting facts and bits of Chief's backstory that people wouldn't know. Namely, that he was a bit of a playground bully and the fact that he killed a bunch of ODSTs right after augmentation. But the noteworthy thing is that the 4th point is the same, about the missile. Just with a bit more substance to it, and actual things backing it up, and to explain the actions a bit more. In conclusion, what this comes across as to me, someone who has played Halo for years and gotten hooked into its lore and universe, is just someone who skimmed Master Chief's page on Halopedia, made things up along the way, guessed a few things, and read other extremely similar articles and facts lists about him, and then just made this. Nothing about this actually shows that the author knows who the Master Chief is, and actively contradicts some of the most key parts of his character with this list. When it comes to that, just write about stuff you actually know or care about, dude. Or just do a quick search or two. As for the writing issues, just literally type it out in Word. Like, I don't know, just do something. You get paid to write. You might as well just put some effort in to make it well written. Minimizing mistakes, chances are, will get you further as a writer. So, doing that's probably important. Yeah, you probably won't see this, but if you do, I'm not attacking you as a person, because I know I need to say that. I know nothing about you other than your name from the top of this article and the fact that you wrote this. There are errors in your work, and a clear lack of understanding of the character that does not reflect on you as a person. Just that there's always something to improve upon, and hey, that's how writing's improved. Anyway, that's about as much depth as I wanted to go into today. And considering that most of this is just blatantly and demonstrably untrue, even when just considering the games and none of the books, there's not even that much depth required to dismiss it as bad. I would not recommend this article to anyone who actually wants to know about Halo or the Master Chief, but it does offer a link to the IGN list, which, it's a pretty good alternative. As someone who has invested in the games for years, I would definitely say that the IGN article is better, because it actually says interesting things about the character. And yeah, this is it for today. This is the first video I'm making, so hello. Thank you for checking it out, and I appreciate that people might actually enjoy listening to me do this. And yeah, just want to say that a big ass critique of Halo 4, it's been a side project of mine for about a year now, and It's been on and off, but it's well over 50 pages of stuff, and thankfully it's starting to be wrapped up. I think I've gotten all the things said about the campaign that I'd tried to. Multiplayer and Spartan Ops are the only two things left. So, hopefully I'll get this out by the end of this year. But, yeah, honestly, it's whenever I have the time to actually get it out there. Because it's been on my mind for this long, and I cannot wait to release myself from the weight of this massive script. So, yeah, that's it. See you around.